Hello, everyone, again. This is Aaron Duquette, State Director for U.S. Term Limits here with another candidate in Kentucky who has signed the U.S. Term Limits Pledge. And it's a pledge promising to co-sponsor and vote for a resolution supported by U.S. term limits in order to get the states to propose term limits on Congress, something very, very sorely needed and overdue. So I want to introduce everybody to Shawn Thacher. Shawn, you want to speak a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn Thacher from Breathitt County, Kentucky, southeast Kentucky. Lived here all my life, trying to make a difference here. And we live in a very impoverished area here, trying to make a difference here and change the way people kind of think about Eastern Kentucky. And so we got to get people, got to get some people in office that can make changes. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Good deal. Good deal. So, we spoke, must have been a couple, maybe even 3 months ago, and talking about this congressional term limits initiative. And as you know, it's something that's supported by 82% of American voters, and actually the figure is 2 percentage points higher here in Kentucky.
Right.
I like to say that the Kentuckians are 2 percentage points more commonsensical than the average American.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about why you agreed to sign the pledge and support the movement.
I'm just completely against career politicians. We've got some people that've been in office in our state government and our federal representing Kentucky. All great people. They serve our country and things like that. But I think it's time for some new ideas. And I've always thought this, even before I decided to run for office. It's time that we get some people that are representing our generation. I'll say it like that, as politically correct as I can. They're not looking out for things that are coming down the road anymore. I don't think they're looking toward the future. They're just trying to keep their job, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are a number of problems that come without a term-limited Congress. The power consolidates. The seniority system sets up a situation where it attracts careerism.
Right.
There's just the whole, everything that's called the swamp, right? The lobbyists and the bureaucrats,
Absolutely.
Media and the staffers all kind of rotating through the door there. Of those things, all those problems you could point to that term limits is wrapped up in. It's kind of a unique issue in that it's really a nonpartisan issue. It's not distinctly a Republican and Democrat kind of issue.
Right.
It's really, we have people, supporting our movement all over, all different flavors of political persuasion. Right. What are one or two of the reasons why you particularly want to see term limits on Congress? Like what good would come out of that?
Well, I think government becomes stagnant when you take several of our elected officials. There's no new initiatives coming out of it. There's no new ideas. We have our nation is in turmoil right now. Yeah. And these people are still stuck 30, 40 years ago with ideas from 30 or 40 years ago, and they're not going to work now. These things aren't going to happen now. So I was in Frankfurt at a meeting, and they were talking about broadband internet service brings in Kentucky. And this really kind of hit it home to me. It's like this guy comes in and he doesn't even understand what broadband is. Like he doesn't even understand. But he's a person that's there passing laws and to make this happen or not happen. And he doesn't even understand what he's voting on. He even admitted it. He even said, "I don't even know what the difference in this is." He doesn't even know. But he's somebody that's been there 25, 30 years, and I was sitting there like, this guy doesn't even know what he's voting on and what we're talking about here at this meeting. And it just really drove it home to me that that's another reason I went ahead and signed this petition, is that we have to get people that know the issues, that know what's happening currently in our country and in our state. With the new idea, all new generations involved in politics, you have to have term limits for that.
Everyone's got their favorites in Congress that they would like to see out, and they've got a couple other favorites they want to keep. But the bottom line is, right, the rules of the game are such that it puts us in a position of needing the longevity and playing the longevity game.
Right.
And when that happens, now you're buying into the whole careerism.
Right.
With term limits, no one's going to make a particular career out of it. They might be there for a while, but no one's above a certain amount of years, and then they're going home.
Right.
So that changes the name of the game. The lobbyists got to go back. They got to start actually competing with each other. It frustrates their whole kind of underhanded game. And
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is kind of something that's been on my mind. It's like, put a term limits on. You say you can run for the seat for 4 terms or 2 terms, whatever it is, and then you have to not run for that office you just have to sit out a term. But at some point, we have to start moving forward, and letting some new ideas come in, So like I say, I'm not I don't know everything about I'm not the know-it-all of all this stuff, but it's common sense stuff to me. You can't sit in one seat. You're going to get stagnant at some point, and you're going to stop progressing forward.
Well, Shawn, the average person understands that power corrupts.
Right.
The longer you're there, the more corrupt you're bound to get, just by the sheer enticements of that. And I'm with you there, right? The response sometimes that we see by the actual, the extreme minority actually on this issue, is that we have, term limits already. They're called elections, and that's true on paper, in theory, in the abstract. But you look in practice, it's not at all close to what we have. You have a 95% reelection rate in Congress, but Congress's approval rating hovers around 10, 12%.
12,
so we have 2 options there, and there are 2 options you can take, I think. And one of them is just, we're going to blame the voters. The voters are stupid or inept or whatever. Well, no, I don't think so. I think voters are occupied doing their jobs in their everyday lives. Yeah. And they're doing the best they can with what they're dealt. But when you look on that ballot and you don't see many options, it takes a good $2 million just to mount some kind of challenge. But even so, about a 5% chance of maybe unseating somebody. So it really sets up a situation where theoretically, you can vote them out, but if you can't really match what they have going on, then there's not really a choice there. But this goes beyond elections, right? We're operating now within a system, right, that doesn't have term limits across the board, and so dealing with what you have to deal with, right, you got to make your voting choices. But with term limits put in place, that's across the board, right? And so whether you're a Democrat afraid of prominent Republicans or Republicans afraid of prominent Democrats and where they're going, right? If all of those dinosaurs, like you mentioned, are going to be phased down, then there's more of a level playing field among the states, and Kentucky's going to have more of a chance to actually bring ideas and fresh perspectives to bear. Right? We need that. And so it takes some longer view, right? We can take the short view sometimes, I think, very easily. They got to take the long view of what's going to be healthier, not only for the country, but for Kentucky specifically. So
that's right. That's right.
Well, Shawn, we really appreciate you and your support. We can't do this without support of state legislators and candidates like yourself, willing to step up and to the plate there and make this happen. So, well, our regional director, Ken Clark, likes to say, it's not a red and blue situation here with term limits. There's one color in Congress, and that's green.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Shawn, we really appreciate you. We appreciate your support, signing the pledge, and sticking your neck out there for term limits. We need to make this happen, and it's going to take a strong push here. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
You're very welcome. Anything I can do, let me know.
All right, Shawn. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.